Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have something incredible to take a look at. We have a gorgeous looking pterosaur model that you can see before you, but this is actually a Shapeways kit. This comes from Shapeways and was created by a sculptor that many of you, if you are familiar with the beasts of the Mesozoic, are also going to be quite familiar with, as this was created by Raul Ramos, and he has done an extensive amount of work with the Beasts of the Mesozoic line on quite a few of the different series of that line, as well as the brand new Tyrannosaur series that is still underway. And this, again, is an Anhanguera from him. It's really cool to have a sculpt of his that's not part of the Beasts of the Mesozoic, because I don't think I have any prior. I definitely don't have any individual sculpts created by him, sold by him, but again, this is exactly what this one is here, and this one is sold through his Shapeways store. But honestly, it is a fantastic interpretation of an Anhanguera. I went ahead and built this and painted it to, I'm not really sure what I painted it to resemble. I didn't have any type of specific inspiration. I just kind of started painting and then saw where it led me. And it led me here, and I feel like it turned out pretty nicely, pretty natural looking overall. Not, again, the best thing in the world that you'll ever see, but I felt like it looked decent enough. But the sculpt from Raul Ramos is so good that, again, it's one of those models where it practically just paints itself. As soon as you add a little bit of paint application to it, it just starts to come to life and instantly goes from looking like a, white model to a gorgeous living animal, and that's exactly what I see here with the now fully painted Anhanguera. And I love the fact that it comes with this really cool base and kind of stand. It's not anything like, specific, like it's not like an earthy area or like the ocean or anything underneath. It's just almost a museum-like look to it as far as what we have here for the stand, and it holds the pterosaur beautifully. You can see it's balanced quite nicely up there on the stand. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead, jump straight to a closer look at this beautiful Anhanguera right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our Anhanguera, you can see that it has its mouth sculpted in an open position as it's flying along. I almost kind of get the feeling of it like flying above the ocean and maybe soaring down to grab some fish, and that's why the wings are obviously in a really nice soaring position, and the mouth is slightly open as if it's about to kind of lunge down and grab itself a fish. This might be a little complicated to actually get a good close-up review of this guy because the wingspan is so long. The wings go from my camera to the backdrop right there, so it's a little tricky to get him into frame quite nicely up close like this. But again, you can see that all of the detail within the beak of our Anhanguera is really, really nicely sculpted. Like, it has some fantastic, very vibrant detailing to it, which makes it quite the joy to paint. And you can also see that the teeth are all sculpted out individually and all very nicely. And you can see how beautifully done they are, and I would imagine if the mouth closed, it would have a really nice, very smooth interlocking feature because the teeth appear to be all perfectly placed as far as the way that they are sculpted out. And again, that's one of the most unique and interesting attributes of an Anhanguera, is just how weird looking the teeth and the beak are, and I feel like Raul has captured that really nicely in this model. You can also see the nostrils are sculpted out back there, as is the eye socket area. All very nicely done. You can see the same deal over here. And I love the really nice detail as we move down the course of the neck. You can see how beautiful the detailing as far as like the skin texture is. And you can see as we start to move back up here into the back of the neck and into the back of the pterosaur, we get some pycnofibers picking up, so it transitions very nicely from the skin texture type of an area here to more of a pycnofiber look. And then when we actually come up here into the wing area of our pterosaur, you can see the wings are sculpted really nicely. There's a slight bend in them to obviously show the soaring position of the pterosaur. But the structure in general of the wing here is really nicely done. You can kind of make out like the bone structure as you move out along the course of the wing, and of course the actual like skin flap here of the wing as well is really nicely detailed. There's some very nice, very fine texturing to the wing. And then as you move up through the course of the wing, you can see the hands are sculpted out quite nicely. The nails are as well. And we continue to have, again, that really nice appearance to like the bone structure moving out throughout the course of the wing, as well as the really nice detailing of the skin flap. You can also see how nice the general structure of the pterosaur is throughout. You can see how really beautifully sculpted out those pycnofibers are as you move down the course of the pterosaur. You can also almost pick out like some muscle definition throughout as well. And then you, of course, can run down here. You see the tail sticking out of the back. Some pretty nice looking muscle definition in the legs. You've also got the feet sculpted out, and you can see how wide and far apart those legs are to continue to help the soaring position for the pterosaur, and how nicely stretched the skin is between those legs, again with that very wide stance helping to create that kind of stretch in the skin to provide this pterosaur an opportunity to soar over and, in my opinion, look for some fish. And the feet are also really nicely sculpted. You can see those are really beautifully sculpted. The toes are opened up, and you can also see the nails are sculpted out there as well. And then as we move out into the other wing, again, same deal as what we had just seen on the previous wing, where we have the beautiful structure moving through the course of the upper part of the wing, the bone structure and everything. You can see the hand again over here, and that beautiful skin texture throughout, with a really nice, very widespread stretch in the wing. And then if we go to the underside, again, you can see the very nice looking skin texture here, but we also seem to have kind of like some pycnofibers back here as we move down through the course of the chest into the stomach. You can see the chest muscles are nicely displayed, and also the pterosaur does have some pretty nice girth in the stomach region. As you move down into the legs, again, the legs look great, really nice and wide stretched, and you can also see more pycnofibers down there as well. And then if we move out here into the wing, just like we had done up on the upper side, you can see again we have the same style of sculpt down here as well, again with the wing stretched. Obviously, if it's just the underside, it's going to look just like it did on the upper side, but we can again see the structure of the wing as well as the very nice texturing. I kind of tried to add like some veins and stuff in to give it a little bit more of a realistic appearance. And then the same deal over here, again the exact same look, because we of course have our pterosaur flying. You can see how graceful looking it looks as far as the really nice bending of the wings and the beautiful soaring position. I really love the positioning of this pterosaur. Like, it honestly almost just like takes me straight back to when this animal was alive, and just kind of helps to create that scene in my head of it just soaring over the ocean and about to swoop down and grab itself a fish of some kind. So this is easily the nicest Anhanguera in my collection, totally annihilating any other Anhanguera that I have. So unquestionably incredible work on the part of Raul Ramos. And then we also have our stand, and of course both the pterosaur and the stand come unpainted. You have to paint them yourself and get them put together. The only thing that really disconnects here would be this. Disconnects from the base itself, but you just snap it in. It stays in perfectly. The pterosaur itself will come in a few different pieces, as the wings are not connected, and the beak, I believe the lower part of the beak is not connected. Can't recall if there was anything else, if I actually had to put anything together, but I'm pretty sure that was it. So there's very few pieces that actually need to be applied, and once you have it applied, you get yourself a nice base coat, you can get it painted, and you can see how beautiful the base itself looks again once painted. I didn't really do anything too crazy with it. I felt like it looked, you know, nice with these colors, so this is the way I kept it. But a really cool base and stand for a gorgeous pterosaur model. And just like I was saying, we have this really cool base and stand for the pterosaur, and you can kind of see like some little divots here that we just take our pterosaur, and you just have to place the throat there and then the stomach region into there, and it stays on there perfectly. You can see I can move it around and everything. You can even take it and kind of like slightly dip it so that it can kind of have like the turn, like it's flying like this, maybe making a right turn. And then again, same deal you could do over here. You can also alter it, like have it slightly tilted. You know, you can really do quite a bit as far as posing it here on this stand. But as far as a size goes for the pterosaur, for a wingspan, which I think is probably one of the most interesting aspects as far as size goes for a pterosaur model, you are looking at about, I'd say about a foot actually, or maybe a little hair over, so about 12 inches or around 30.5 centimeters. And then for a height, obviously you're not going to get too much for a height of the pterosaur. We're just laying flat on my review station here, but up on the stand we do get a pretty good height. The highest point would probably be like the middle area of the wings, so you're looking at about 4.5 inches or around the 11.5 centimeter area. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line in comparison to our Raul Ramos Anhanguera, and you can get a pretty good idea of the overall size of the pterosaur model. One thing about this one that is quite nice is that it's not gigantic, but it's not small. Like, it's honestly a perfect size for a model like this, especially if you want something that could sit on like your desk or something that's not going to take up too much room. A really convenient size for a model like this. And even with the wingspan, you know, being about a foot long, it still is a very convenient size. And I feel like Raul did a great job as far as the size aspect of the pterosaur and making it sizable enough that it's truly quite impressive and quite the head turner, but not overly large that it's going to take up too much room, and not too small that it's just not impressive enough. Like, it's, in my opinion, picture perfect. So this Raul Ramos Anhanguera model is awesome. Like, easily one of the nicest pterosaur models I have in my collection, and I'm really psyched to have something from him. Again, that's not part of like any type of a dinosaur line that's pre-painted in a factory and sold by a certain company. Like, this was created by him, sold by him, so it's awesome to have something like that. That's just, you know, a little out of the ordinary when it comes to the type of work that we usually get from Raul, because we usually get stuff from like Creative Beast Studio and different companies like that that he works with, but it's nice to have something that's just a straight up sculpt by him now entering my collection that is, again, sold by him on Shapeways. And I really love Shapeways. The more I use it, the more I get models from Shapeways, the more I really take a liking to it, as I now have a few different models from there, and there's just so many different models that are available through Shapeways. It's a really convenient way to get yourself some really cool prehistoric models. So that's a pretty big plus as well on the part of this pterosaur and the ability to pick one up. But again, the sculpt is fantastic. Really, really highly detailed is probably putting it quite mildly. Again, sculpted by Raul Ramos, you know you are getting an incredible sculpt, as he's probably one of the best sculptors out there that I can think of right now. And this pterosaur is a pretty good example as to why I would think that, because it is just beautiful and really elegant. Like, it really shows not just a really cool prehistoric creature, but it shows the beauty of that prehistoric creature with a fantastic soaring position for the pterosaur, as it's just looking so majestic. You can just envision it up in the sky, just basically floating by with such ease, as far as the really nice large wingspan that it has going on and the majestic appearance to the body. Like, it's really beautiful to look at and really shows the elegance of pterosaurs off quite nicely. Due to such beautiful detail, it's a joy to paint the model, because again, it's one of those models where it basically paints itself. As soon as you start to add some paint application to it, it starts to come to life. And when you're fully finished painting it, you can just sit back and look at it and be like, wow, like, that really does look great once some paint application is added to it, and it shows off just how incredible Raul's sculpt truly is. And one of the coolest aspects of models like this, I always love the fact that you get to paint it yourself. Like, you often buy dinosaur models and other prehistoric creatures like pterosaurs where they're already pre-painted, but when it comes to kits like this, and I've been honestly pleading this case for years on this channel, so I hope you guys have actually started to take this advice and start picking some of these kits up. It's so fun painting a kit and kind of creating it in your own vision and painting it up in your own vision, and then sitting back and you can be proud of something that you took part in, like you put work into and made it come to life, honestly, thanks to, of course, Raul's unbelievable sculpt, but your paint application as well. And then we also have a really cool base that goes with the pterosaur that allows some pretty nice options as far as posing it, as well as just, again, showing off the beauty of that soaring position of the pterosaur. And the base itself also looks, as well as the stand, of course, also looks really high quality, almost museum-like with how nice it is and how beautifully it holds that pterosaur up. So overall, this is a definite recommendation from me. If you are interested in picking up a really nice pterosaur model, or specifically an Anhanguera, this is probably the best option out there as far as an Anhanguera goes. I can't think of anybody else that can compete with just how nice this one is, and Raul really knocked this one straight out of the park. It is undeniably a great choice as far as a pterosaur model purchase goes. So if you are interested in this, I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase this on the Shapeways store that I was just speaking of. So make sure you check that link, make sure you pick up this fantastic Anhanguera from Raul Ramos, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.